In today's video, we'll reveal the most valuable US state quarter-dollar coins that every collector dreams of finding. Stay with us until the end. You might have one of these hidden treasures sitting in your change right now. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out what looks like an ordinary quarter, and unknowingly spending a coin that could have been worth as much as $722,000. It sounds unbelievable, but stories like this have happened before. Every day, millions of Americans use quarters without giving them a second glance. To most people, they are simply 25 cents. But to experienced collectors, one rare coin can represent a life-changing discovery. The difference between a spender and a collector is simple. One sees pocket change while the other sees hidden opportunity. And today, we're uncovering one of the most fascinating coins ever released in the United States, the 1999 Connecticut State Quarter. Before you dismiss the quarters sitting in your wallet or that forgotten jar collecting dust on a shelf, you may want to listen carefully. Because one tiny detail could separate an ordinary coin from an extraordinary treasure. The 1999 Connecticut Quarter holds a special place in American numismatic history. It was one of the very first coins released as part of the legendary 50-state quarters program, a series that transformed coin collecting across the country. The reverse design proudly features the famous charter oak, a historic symbol representing Connecticut's determination to protect its colonial charter. Millions of these quarters entered circulation, and at first glance, nearly every example appears identical. But hidden among those millions are a handful of remarkable error coins that have become the focus of intense collector demand. These are not simply old quarters. They are modern rarities with stories that continue to amaze even veteran numismatists. What makes this coin especially fascinating is that most people never inspect the details closely enough. They spend them on coffee, groceries, parking meters, or vending machines without realizing they may have overlooked something extraordinary. Collectors understand that the true value of a coin often has nothing to do with its age. Instead, rarity, condition, demand, and minting mistakes determine whether a coin remains worth 25 cents or becomes the centerpiece of a world-class collection. Here's something you should do right now. If you have a jar filled with loose change, pause for a moment after this video and check every Connecticut quarter you own. That simple habit has led collectors to discoveries worth thousands of dollars. Hidden treasures rarely announce themselves. They wait patiently for someone observant enough to recognize them. One of the most famous characteristics collectors search for is the dramatic off-center strike. During the minting process, a blank planchet must be perfectly aligned between the dies. Occasionally, something goes wrong, and the design is struck significantly off-center. When enough of the design remains visible to identify the coin while displaying a dramatic misalignment, collectors become extremely interested. Depending on the severity and preservation, these error coins can command astonishing premiums over their face value. Another highly sought-after variety involves double strikes. Imagine the coin being struck once, then accidentally receiving another strike while slightly shifted. The result is overlapping images, duplicated lettering, or distorted details that clearly reveal the minting mistake. Genuine double-struck Connecticut quarters are extremely scarce because modern minting equipment is designed to prevent such errors. When authentic examples appear on the market, experienced collectors immediately recognize their importance. Perhaps even more fascinating are broad strike errors. Normally, a retaining collar surrounds the coin during striking, giving it its perfect circular shape and raised edge. But if the collar fails, the metal spreads outward under tremendous pressure, creating a larger-than-normal coin with missing or weakened rims. These dramatic mistakes are instantly recognizable and highly collectible, especially when preserved in exceptional condition. Now here's a question very few people ask. What if your quarter isn't missing part of the design or showing a double strike, but still contains a valuable error? The answer lies in die varieties. A double die occurs during the creation of the working die itself, producing subtle but important doubling in the lettering, numbers, or design elements. Unlike machine doubling, genuine double dies are part of the die and appear consistently on every coin struck from it. Identifying these requires patience, magnification, and careful comparison, but the rewards can be substantial. Collectors also pay close attention to die cracks, retained cuds, and die breaks. As minting dies endure enormous pressure over millions of strikes, they gradually wear out. Sometimes they crack, leaving raised lines across the finished coin. In more dramatic cases, pieces of the die break away completely, producing unusual raised blobs or missing design elements. While some die cracks are relatively common, spectacular examples on Connecticut quarters remain highly desirable because of their unusual appearance and limited availability. Another valuable possibility is the wrong planchet error. Although extraordinarily rare, a Connecticut quarter accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination creates one of the most exciting discoveries imaginable. These coins often have unusual colors, incorrect weights, or different diameters. Professional authentication becomes essential because legitimate wrong planchet errors are among the most valuable mistakes produced by the United States Mint. Now think about this for a moment. How many quarters have passed through your hands over the past decade? Hundreds? Thousands? Most people never inspect even one of them. It's almost humorous that someone could unknowingly spend a coin worth thousands of dollars just to buy a sandwich. Yet that possibility is exactly what makes coin collecting so exciting. Hidden wealth doesn't always come wrapped in gold bars. Sometimes it quietly sits inside a pocket full of change. Condition plays an equally important role in determining value. Two identical error coins can sell for dramatically different prices depending on their state of preservation. Coins displaying brilliant original mint luster, sharp details, and virtually no signs of circulation receive significantly higher grades from professional grading services. Collectors competing for registry-quality examples often pay enormous premiums for the finest known specimens because population reports reveal just how few survive in exceptional condition. Professional certification has become one of the most important steps in today's marketplace. Independent grading companies examine authenticity, assign an official numerical grade, and encapsulate the coin inside tamper-resistant holders. This process builds buyer confidence and frequently increases marketability. Serious collectors rarely invest substantial amounts without reliable third-party authentication, particularly when rare mint errors are involved. So where does the astonishing figure of $722,000 come into the conversation? Headlines featuring extraordinary auction prices often represent exceptionally rare combinations of factors. Imagine a Connecticut quarter displaying a spectacular mint error, preserved in virtually flawless condition, authenticated by leading grading experts, and offered during a competitive high-profile auction where elite collectors battle for ownership. When rarity, condition, historical significance, and intense demand collide, prices can reach levels that seem almost impossible to believe. It is important to understand that not every 1999 Connecticut quarter is worth a fortune. The overwhelming majority remain common circulating coins valued close to face value. The enormous prices belong only to extraordinary examples featuring significant mint errors, elite preservation, documented rarity, or exceptional collector demand. This distinction separates informed collectors from hopeful dreamers and helps prevent expensive mistakes when buying or selling coins. The modern coin market has experienced remarkable growth over the past several years. More collectors are entering the hobby than ever before. Online auctions attract global bidders, and educational resources have made identifying rare varieties easier than previous generations could have imagined. As demand continues to grow while truly rare error coins remain fixed in number, competition naturally becomes more intense. Scarcity has always been the driving force behind collectible value. Here's another challenge for you. The next time you receive change at a grocery store, gas station, or restaurant, don't immediately toss those quarters into your pocket. Take just 30 seconds to inspect the date, mint mark, strike quality, and overall appearance. Those few moments could save you from unknowingly spending something extraordinary. After all, treasure hunters don't succeed because treasure suddenly appears. They succeed because they actually look. Many remarkable discoveries begin with curiosity rather than expertise. Countless collectors started by examining a single coin before gradually learning about mint marks, varieties, grading standards, and production errors. Knowledge becomes the greatest investment because once you understand what makes a coin valuable, ordinary pocket change transforms into an endless opportunity for discovery. Imagine the excitement of realizing that the quarter sitting quietly inside your collection isn't ordinary after all. Imagine sending it for professional authentication, waiting anxiously for the results, and discovering that you've uncovered a genuine rarity sought by collectors nationwide. Those moments keep the numismatic community passionate year after year because every coin carries the possibility of telling an extraordinary story. The 1999 Connecticut quarter reminds us that history, craftsmanship, and rarity often intersect in unexpected ways. What began as a simple 25-cent coin honoring one state's remarkable heritage has become, for a select group of extraordinary examples, one of the most exciting modern collectibles in American numismatics. Its legendary errors, elusive varieties, and remarkable auction potential continue, capturing the attention of collectors searching for hidden wealth in everyday circulation. Before you spend another quarter, remember this. The difference between losing a fortune and discovering one may be nothing more than a careful glance. Somewhere, right now, an overlooked Connecticut quarter may still be waiting inside a forgotten coin jar, an old dresser drawer, a piggy bank, or the bottom of a family toolbox. The next life-changing discovery could belong to the person willing to look just a little closer. And if you think this Connecticut quarter is impressive, wait until you see the next coin we'll uncover. In our upcoming episode, we'll reveal an ultra-rare American coin with an even more astonishing history, mysterious mint errors, and a market value that has stunned collectors around the world. You won't want to miss it. What if I told you that a single 2005 Oregon State quarter hiding in a forgotten coin jar, an old wallet, or even your car's cup holder could be worth far more than its face value? Most people spend these quarters without a second thought. Collectors, however, know that a tiny minting mistake can transform an ordinary 25-cent coin into a remarkable numismatic treasure. Every single day, valuable coins disappear back into circulation because someone didn't recognize the subtle details that separate a common quarter from an extraordinary rarity. Imagine paying for a cup of coffee with a coin that serious collectors would eagerly compete to own. That's exactly why today's story matters. Before another quarter slips through your fingers, let's uncover why the 2005 Oregon State quarter has become one of the most talked about modern coins among experienced collectors, and why certain rare examples have generated incredible excitement throughout the numismatic community. The Oregon State quarter was released as part of the famous 50 State Quarters program, one of the most successful coin series ever produced by the United States Mint. The reverse design features the breathtaking Crater Lake, surrounded by towering cliffs and evergreen forests, symbolizing one of America's most spectacular natural wonders. Millions of these coins entered circulation in 2005, making them appear completely ordinary at first glance. But hidden within those millions are a handful of extraordinary pieces that collectors refer to as ghost coins, because they are so rarely encountered that many collectors spend years searching without ever finding one. So what separates a 25-cent coin from one worth thousands, or even rumors of values approaching an astonishing $799,000? The answer lies in extremely rare combinations of minting errors, exceptional preservation, and overwhelming collector demand. It's not simply about owning a 2005 Oregon quarter. It's about discovering the right Oregon quarter. Before we go any further, here's something you should do right now. Pause for just a moment after this video and check every quarter you have lying around. Look in your change jar. Search your desk drawer. Open that old piggy bank that's been collecting dust for years. You may never look at pocket change the same way again. Now let's explore the first major error that has collectors constantly searching. One of the most desirable varieties involves dramatic off-center strikes. During the minting process, if the blank planchet isn't perfectly aligned when struck by the dies, part of the design may be missing while the date remains visible. Collectors value these errors because every off-center strike is unique. The more dramatic the misalignment while still showing the date, the greater the interest among buyers. Another highly sought-after error is the dramatic double strike. Imagine the coin being struck once, shifting position, and then receiving another powerful strike. The result is an overlapping design that creates a spectacular visual effect impossible to ignore. Genuine double-struck Oregon quarters are exceptionally scarce, and when authenticated by respected grading services, they often command significant premiums over normal examples. But the story becomes even more fascinating with die cracks and retained cuds. Over time, enormous pressure causes mint dies to develop fractures. As those cracks grow larger, raised lines begin appearing on the coin's surface. In extreme situations, pieces of the die break away entirely, creating large raised blobs known as cuds. While small die cracks are relatively common on many coins, massive retained cuds on the Oregon quarter remain highly desirable because they dramatically alter the appearance of the design. Now here's an interesting question. Have you ever ignored what looked like a damaged coin because you assumed it wasn't worth anything? Ironically, that unusual-looking quarter might have been exactly what collectors dream about finding. Sometimes the strangest coin is actually the most valuable one. Another extraordinary error involves struck-through varieties. During production, grease, cloth fibers, or tiny fragments of metal can become trapped between the die and the coin blank. When this happens, portions of the design appear weak, missing, or distorted. Although many struck-through errors are minor, dramatic examples create one-of-a-kind collectibles that attract serious bidding whenever they appear at auction. Then there are clipped planchet errors. Before striking, coin blanks are punched from long sheets of metal. Occasionally, the punching process overlaps, creating blanks with curved sections missing from the edge. When struck, these incomplete blanks become instantly recognizable mint errors. Authentic clipped planchet Oregon quarters remain among the most visually distinctive error coins in the entire state quarter series. One of the rarest discoveries involves broadstrike errors. Normally, a collar surrounds the coin during striking, creating its precise diameter and reeded edge. If the collar fails, the metal spreads outward under tremendous pressure, producing a wider coin with distorted proportions and weakened edge details. Broad strikes are dramatic, easy to identify, and consistently popular among advanced collectors. Now let's talk about the mint marks because they matter more than many people realize. The 2005 Oregon quarter was produced in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins display the P mint mark, Denver examples feature the D, and San Francisco produced special proof versions marked with an S. While each mint produced millions of standard coins, rare errors from any facility can become exceptionally valuable depending on their uniqueness and condition. Condition is where everything changes. Two identical error coins can have vastly different values simply because one survived in nearly perfect condition while the other circulated for years. Professional grading services carefully examine every surface under magnification, assigning numerical grades that dramatically influence market prices. Coins graded at the very top of the scale are incredibly difficult to find because even the smallest contact marks can lower the final grade. Here's something many new collectors never realize. A coin doesn't have to be old to become valuable. Modern coins with spectacular minting errors often generate just as much excitement as classic 19th century rarities. That's one reason the Oregon quarter continues attracting new collectors every year. Now imagine this scenario. You're cleaning out a drawer you've ignored for a decade. Inside sits a small plastic bag filled with loose quarters collected from grocery store change. Most people would take them directly to a coin counting machine. But what if one unusual Oregon quarter inside that bag possessed a rare double strike, an off-center error, or an exceptional die break? That ordinary afternoon could suddenly become unforgettable. Let's address the headline that captures everyone's attention: the possibility of a value approaching $799,000. While such extraordinary figures represent exceptional circumstances involving unique, museum-quality coins or remarkable error combinations that ignite fierce bidding among elite collectors, they illustrate an important truth. The coin market rewards rarity, authenticity, and outstanding preservation. Most Oregon quarters will always remain worth 25 cents, but extraordinary examples can achieve astonishing premiums because collectors compete intensely for the finest known specimens. This is why authentication matters. Counterfeit error coins and altered pieces occasionally appear in the marketplace. Experienced collectors never rely solely on appearance. They submit valuable discoveries to respected third-party grading services for authentication and encapsulation. That certification provides confidence for both buyers and sellers while protecting the coin's long-term value. The market for rare error coins has become increasingly competitive in recent years. As more collectors learn about modern mint errors through online communities, auctions, and educational videos, demand continues expanding while genuine rare examples remain incredibly limited. That's the perfect recipe for long-term collector interest. When demand rises but supply never increases, exceptional coins become even more desirable. Here's another quick challenge. The next time someone hands you change at a gas station, grocery store, or restaurant, don't immediately drop those quarters into your pocket. Take 5 seconds to look. Those few moments could become the most profitable inspection of your entire year. Many collectors describe searching through pocket change as modern treasure hunting. Unlike buried pirate gold or forgotten bank vaults, these treasures still circulate among everyday Americans completely unnoticed. Every transaction creates another opportunity for a remarkable discovery. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. Anyone can participate, regardless of experience or budget. The Oregon Quarter reminds us that extraordinary value often hides inside ordinary objects. Millions of people handle coins every day without seeing anything beyond their spending power. Collectors see history, craftsmanship, rarity, and opportunity. That difference in perspective is what separates the spender from the treasure hunter. If you happen to discover a strange-looking Oregon Quarter, don't clean it. Cleaning almost always reduces collector value by damaging the original surfaces. Instead, store it safely, compare it with verified examples, and consider professional authentication if the coin appears genuinely unusual. Patience and careful evaluation are often rewarded far more than rushing to sell. As the market continues evolving, remarkable modern era coins remain one of the fastest-growing areas of numismatics. New discoveries still emerge, surprising even veteran collectors who have searched for decades. Somewhere, another extraordinary Oregon Quarter may still be hiding inside circulation, waiting for someone observant enough to recognize its significance. So before you spend another quarter today, ask yourself one simple question. Could this ordinary-looking coin actually be an overlooked piece of hidden American treasure? The answer might change the way you look at every handful of pocket change for the rest of your life. And remember, today's Oregon Quarter is only the beginning. In our next video, we'll uncover another ultra-rare American coin with an incredible minting mistake that has stunned collectors and sparked intense bidding wars across the country. You won't want to miss that hidden treasure, because the next life-changing discovery could already be sitting in your pocket right now. What if I told you that a single 2000 Maryland quarter hiding in an old coin jar, forgotten wallet, or dusty dresser could be worth far more than its face value? Most people spend these coins without a second thought, never realizing that a tiny minting mistake could transform an ordinary 25-cent piece into one of the most desirable modern collectibles in the coin market. Every day, thousands of these quarters pass through cash registers, vending machines, and bank rolls. The spender sees 25 cents. The collector sees possibility. That difference in perspective has created fortunes before, and it could happen again. Before you dismiss that handful of change sitting around your home, remember this one overlooked detail could mean the difference between spending a quarter and discovering a coin worth thousands, or in extraordinary circumstances, an example that collectors speculate could command prices approaching $789,000 when paired with an exceptionally rare mint error, pristine condition, and intense auction competition. The year 2000 marked an exciting chapter in American numismatic history. The United States Mint had launched the wildly successful state quarters program only a year earlier, capturing the attention of millions of Americans. Maryland became one of the featured designs, showcasing the magnificent dome of the Maryland State House, the oldest state capitol still in continuous legislative use. Millions of these quarters entered circulation, making them appear incredibly common. But hidden among those millions are a tiny number of extraordinary pieces that continue to fascinate professional collectors and error specialists. This is where the story becomes fascinating. Rarity does not always begin with a low mintage. Sometimes, rarity is born during the split second when a coin is struck. A tiny malfunction inside a minting press can permanently change a coin's destiny. While nearly every Maryland quarter left the mint exactly as intended, a microscopic percentage escaped with dramatic production errors. Those accidental creations are the coins that generate excitement whenever they appear at major auctions. Now here's something that surprises even experienced collectors. If you have a jar of old quarters nearby, pause for just a moment and think about it. How long has it been since anyone actually looked at each coin instead of simply counting the money? Most people have never inspected a quarter under proper lighting. Yet that simple habit separates ordinary people from treasure hunters. Among the most valuable errors reported on 2000 Maryland quarters are dramatic off-center strikes. These occur when the blank planchet shifts out of position before being struck by the dies. Instead of a perfectly centered design, part of the image disappears while a blank crescent remains visible. Minor off-center strikes carry modest premiums, but dramatic examples showing both the date and mint mark while missing a significant portion of the design become highly collectible. Their unusual appearance immediately catches the eye because they look completely different from every normal quarter. Another highly sought-after variety is the broad strike error. During production, the retaining collar normally holds the coin in place as it is struck. If that collar fails, the metal spreads outward under enormous pressure, creating a coin that appears wider than normal with missing or distorted edge details. Broad strike Maryland quarters are far scarcer than most collectors ever encounter in circulation, especially examples that remain in exceptional condition. Perhaps even more fascinating are double-struck quarters. Imagine a coin receiving one strike, shifting position, and then receiving another strike before being ejected from the press. The result is a spectacular overlapping design that immediately tells the story of a mechanical failure inside the mint. Every double strike is unique because no two shifts occur exactly the same way. That uniqueness makes these coins particularly attractive to advanced error collectors. Now ask yourself one simple question. If millions of people spend quarters every day without looking, how many rare error coins continue traveling unnoticed through the economy? The answer is impossible to know. That uncertainty is exactly what keeps collectors searching through bank rolls and pocket change year after year. Another remarkable error involves die cracks and retained cuds. Over time, minting dies endure tremendous pressure. Eventually, tiny fractures begin forming across the hardened steel. Those cracks transfer directly onto every coin produced afterward, creating raised lines that should never exist on a normal strike. If part of the die actually breaks away, the resulting cud creates large raised blobs of metal on the finished coin. Major die failures are dramatically scarcer than minor cracks and often become favorites among specialists who study the life cycle of minting dies. Collectors also pay close attention to double dies. Unlike machine doubling, a genuine double die originates during the creation of the die itself. Letters, numbers, and design elements display clear separation under magnification. While dramatic double dies on Maryland quarters are uncommon, authenticated examples can generate tremendous interest because the doubling is part of every strike made from that defective die. Then there are clipped planchet errors. Before striking, coin blanks are punched from large metal sheets. Occasionally, the punching process overlaps an existing hole, leaving a curved section missing from the blank. When struck, the missing portion remains absent, producing one of the easiest mint errors to recognize. Authentic clips display characteristic metal flow near the missing section, allowing experts to distinguish genuine errors from damaged coins. Here's something many people never consider. Condition can matter just as much as rarity. Two identical error coins may have vastly different values if one spent decades in circulation while the other remained untouched since leaving the mint. Professional grading services examine strike quality, luster, preservation, and originality before assigning a grade. A difference of only 1 or 2 grading points can dramatically influence auction results. That brings us to another important reality. Stories claiming every Maryland quarter is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars are simply incorrect. The overwhelming majority remain worth face value because they are ordinary circulation coins. The truly extraordinary prices discussed by collectors are reserved for exceptionally rare combinations of significant mint errors, outstanding preservation, professional authentication, and competitive bidding. Without those factors, even an interesting coin may sell for only a modest premium. Still, history has repeatedly demonstrated that remarkable discoveries continue to happen. Valuable coins have emerged from inherited collections, forgotten piggy banks, old coffee cans, estate sales, and unopened bank rolls. The thrill lies in knowing that remarkable finds are still possible because so many coins remain unexamined. Take another look at your own collection. Examine the date carefully. Look for missing design elements, overlapping images, unusual doubling, distorted edges, dramatic die cracks, broad strikes, clipped planchets, or anything that appears different from a normal Maryland quarter. Compare suspicious pieces with a standard example. Even small differences deserve closer inspection before dismissing the coin. Here's a thought that might change how you view everyday money forever. Imagine paying for a cup of coffee with a quarter that later turns out to be worth thousands of dollars. It sounds unbelievable, yet similar stories have fueled the coin collecting hobby for generations. Sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in the places people stop looking. The modern coin market continues evolving as new collectors enter the hobby every year. Online auctions, grading services, and digital marketplaces have connected buyers from around the world, creating intense competition for elite-era coins. Whenever a spectacular modern rarity appears with impeccable certification and strong eye appeal, bidding can escalate rapidly. That's why collectors monitor auction records so closely. They know the next headline sale could redefine expectations for a particular variety. Could a perfect storm of rarity, elite condition, historical significance, and extraordinary mint errors push a remarkable 2000 Maryland quarter toward the extraordinary figure of $789,000? In the world of elite numismatics, exceptional coins occasionally exceed expectations when determined collectors compete for ownership. Such prices represent the extreme upper end of the market and depend on unique circumstances rather than ordinary examples. That's exactly why authentication and professional evaluation remain essential before making assumptions about value. The real lesson is bigger than any single coin. Every piece of pocket change tells a story about history, craftsmanship, economics, and the unpredictable nature of rarity. Most people never pause long enough to listen to that story. Collectors do. They understand that patience, knowledge, and careful observation often reveal opportunities invisible to everyone else. So before you spend another quarter today, take 60 seconds to inspect it closely. That tiny habit could save you from unknowingly giving away a remarkable collectible. Share this information with friends and family because someone you know may already have one sitting unnoticed in a drawer or coin jar. And if you enjoy uncovering hidden treasures hiding in plain sight, make sure you subscribe and stay with us, because in our next episode we'll reveal another ultra-rare American coin with an astonishing history, incredible mint errors, and a value that has left even seasoned collectors speechless. You won't want to miss what comes next.